Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. You guys know what time it is. Time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And for those of you who like these type of videos, please remember to click like down below. If you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. And today I'm going to cover a video that was linked on my Facebook fan page by Aaron over at Alpha M. Now I want to remind people, maybe some of his fans who are coming through seeing this or other people who are curious, I don't cover anything else that Aaron does. I only cover when he talks about training or nutrition, because that's what my channel is. So it's one of these where he had this 15-minute a week meal prep, and he's saying, look guys, I get all my meals ready in 15 minutes for the week. It's like, wow, I can't do that. So I'm like, let me watch and see what he's doing. And some of it, while it was interesting, I'm going to disagree with a lot of what he's doing here. Now, I'm going to give credit where credit is due first. Obviously, Aaron stays very lean, so I don't want anyone to think that I am saying the guy doesn't have a low body fat. He's not big. He doesn't have a lot of muscle, though. So when we start talking about muscle building and I look at, say, his size, and I look at what even my clients are at, like most of my clients wouldn't be happy at his size. Right? Most of my paying clients wouldn't be happy at his size. And that just is what it is. It's nothing personal, but people who are really trying to build muscle, maybe his stuff's not always the best choice there. And I mean, even in terms of the food, and when I see the food he's eating, I see that. But he is very lean. He does know how to stay lean. So credit where credit is due for that, because a lot of people struggle with that. The other thing I thought was fascinating, I agree with, he doesn't count macros. Like, I've never counted macros. Yeah, I don't generally encourage people to count macros. And I know for me, being a somewhat evidence-based guy, that shocks people. It's because macros don't matter for most people. I don't prescribe macros for my clients. And I have clients who are competitive athletes, right? I don't prescribe macros. We give guidelines for protein and calories. That's it. Because when we're talking about gaining muscle and losing fat for people who are not trying to get ultra shredded, knowing your macros is irrelevant. In fact, you're never going to get them right anyways. It's actually impossible to track your macros to the gram. It is mathematically impossible to do with real food. Even with a digital scale, we're just in the ballpark with stuff. Furthermore, those are tools that people need to manipulate to get ultra peeled, which I don't recommend people do, because again, strength and fitness channel, not death anorexic bodybuilder channel. So you shouldn't be getting ultra shredded. It's not healthy, it's not fit, it's not good for athletes, right? Other than a tiny, tiny genetically gifted minority of even elite athletes who can get ultra ripped and still perform. A lot of athletes, even with good genetics and great ability, still can't do that. It's actually a relatively rare trait to be able to do that, and most people don't have it. So I don't recommend people get shredded, so therefore counting macros isn't important, and it tends to create eating disorders. It tends to cause people to be obsessive. And it generally is for people who have a form of OCD. Those are the people who love to count macros. And if you enjoy doing it and it makes you happy, do it. But it's not going to impact your muscle growth or your fat loss for the most part to do that. It's largely irrelevant. Calories are largely interchangeable in the context of your overall energy intake. Or what we really care about is protein and total energy intake and turnover. Those are your important factors, along with eating quality food. I would much rather people count their micros than their macros. I think that's far more important than knowing your percentage of carbs versus fat. Largely irrelevant for most people, other than needing specific dietary things to create a thing in your body. Like if you're trying to be in ketosis, it might be important to know those things. So, over to the point. I'm looking at it, he's saying, well, I use ButcherBox, and then he's showing the amount of meat that he eats, and I'm just shocked at how little meat the guy eats. So let's kind of, again, discuss this with muscle building. His protein intakes of what he eats in a day for protein intake is just, I would never drop my protein that low. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't even drop my protein to double what he eats. So therein lies one of the problems. You know, his whole thing was basically an ad for ButcherBox, and I looked at their website. I went ahead and checked it out because he's like, oh, I get this one box delivered once a month. I'm like, that's a month's worth of meat for you. He's like, man, dude, that would be gone in like 4 days in my house. That would be gone in 4 days. And so I looked at ButcherBox to get an idea, like if I were to use them as my primary protein source, it would exceed my entire grocery budget for a month. Like I cap my food bill, for me, like when I do my spreadsheets and I write my own household budget, $400 a month for groceries is my general thing. And no, that's for me. That's not a household of people. I eat about $400 worth of food every month of groceries. That's my budget. It doesn't mean I eat that every month, but that is what I budget for. And I tend to buy a lot of frozen stuff and have a deep freeze and everything else. So, I mean, I have large amounts of frozen vegetables, meat. I mean, I probably have sometimes 40 or 50 pounds of frozen meat at a time. So, but that's what I budget. And I'm looking at the numbers, and it's like just for me to get my meat, if I was going to do all meat protein for a month, I would spend $700 to $800 a month on just my protein sources from them. Yeah, I'm not spending that. That's ludicrous. That's ludicrous. And it's not like I'm broke or anything like that or couldn't afford it, but it's like, why would I spend $700 to $800 every month from one grocery delivery service? Because it's not even the only thing I would be eating. To me, that's ludicrous. I'm not saying that they don't have good products. I'm just saying that when you eat the quantity of meat that I would eat if I was going to use meat as a protein source, which is what he is doing, then that's problematic. Like, I'm not paying $10, $12 a pound for meat. It's just not going to happen. I live in Texas. I don't have to. You don't have to use a service like that to get quality meat even delivered to your house. Like, it's a lot cheaper to use more conventional means. So, I mean, Instacart, people, Instacart. And get a Costco membership. I do have a Costco executive membership. But you have different options. So, I'm not saying their stuff isn't good, and he went on and on about the quality of the meat, and then that's the thing that shocked me, because again, if we're going to talk about food quality and eating unprocessed foods, which is what I eat, like people ask me, Jason, like, what is your food? It's like, I eat plants and animals and things that came out of animals. But then people start asking me, I'll occasionally get a client, and it's funny because you'll get a client who will ask you, oh, what about Gatorade? I'm like, I don't know what's in Gatorade. I wasn't aware that athletes and people eat crap like that. Like, what? That's like a junk food, right? It's processed. Same thing with something like almond milk. And that was what shocked me, is that he went through this whole spiel about the importance of this organic, grass-fed, high-quality meat. But then what does he eat for this shake? He dumps a bunch of protein powder, just like a refined protein powder, with a bunch of almond milk. Like almond milk, that's just a pile of refined garbage. Like, that's just junk food. I don't, and this is where people say, oh my God, I can't believe you say this. What's the difference between 400 calories from almond milk and just eating a burger from McDonald's? Like, what's the difference? I don't see, like, from a health perspective, or again, looking at unrefined, unprocessed foods, there's no difference. Your Alpha Shake is just a junk food shake. And that's fine if you want to eat that, but don't call that a healthy Whole Foods meal. It's not. It's garbage. So we come back over to the next thing. I'm looking, and he went through all that spiel also. Then he's sitting there using instant brown rice, and it's like, fine, if you think brown rice is great, which we could argue about that, that's fine. But then cook real brown rice. What, I mean, just again, an instant brown rice in a box. We're falling back over to just refined junk food. I don't get it. I'm looking at this, and I don't understand how this is supposed to be a healthy Whole Foods meal plan just because you get some really high quality meat. You would probably be, if you're looking at overall healthiness and completeness of your food, you would be better off just buying a less expensive meat that's still decent quality. It's still in America. USDA grade beef is going to tend to be okay. Just get regular normal price meats and get whole foods, right? Eat whole foods with it. Like, why again, take garbage like almond milk and a refined protein powder and mix that all together and eat that twice a day? I mean, I get it. Some guys want a fast absorbing protein post-workout. There are potential benefits. We can get into a big debate about that. But for breakfast, like, just to eat this refined crap for breakfast, to me, that's not a healthy, fitness-oriented lifestyle. Says me. And it has nothing to do with body fat levels. It has to do with performing your best as an athlete, maximizing your health. Right? Because I have to think of those things. I'm in my 40s, and I train very, very hard with a very high workload through multiple performance elements. Not just people think I just do the squat, bench, and deadlift. No, I do tons of conditioning work in GPP, and I eat a lot of food, but it's food. Food, not processed almond juice and a whey protein with 37 ingredients in it, just all dumped together in a blender. That's garbage. Just eat McDonald's if you're going to do that. You'd probably be better off. So, you look at that and you have to wonder that. So why don't you just eat whole foods instead? Buy normal price meat and eat whole foods. Not that hard. Again, just my perspective. So I looked at a lot of that, and I thought he was going to promote this whole healthy thing, and I look and I'm just surprised. It's just a bunch of refined stuff. And that might shock a lot of people, because I think that's where we have that divergence, is that we have this idea of what healthy eating looks like and what whole foods look like versus the reality of, people will eat all this refined garbage. And it's something I feel like we need to talk about more. It gets marketed as health food and stuff, but it's just processed junk food. I mean, almond milk, instant brown rice, these are just highly refined carb sources. That's not food. That's not the same thing as a whole food, guys. Which should you be eating? Plants, animals, things that came out of animals. What do I mean? Eggs, whole milk, eggs, right? Those are whole foods. Meat, vegetables. I don't think you need grains at all. I'm not even a grain fan. So again, instant brown rice. Well, eat you some potatoes, and that's unrefined. Take you a few potatoes, and boil them. Throw them in the oven and bake them. There you go. That's a whole food. That's still a plant. It's a root vegetable. If time is an issue, you can throw a crock pot overnight. Take a bunch of meat and fill it full of root vegetables. Right? What's root vegetables? Potatoes, carrots, onions. Bunch of meat. Throw it in a slow cooker overnight. Okay, there you go. Now you've got food for the entire next day. A big giant stew made of nothing but whole foods. That's whole foods, healthy meal plans. Not almond milk mixed with protein powder and as a breakfast, and a bunch of instant brown rice from a box. But then to go on about quality grass-fed organic meats when you're eating all this other crap, I don't get it. I don't understand it. No, not going to happen. Not going to promote that sort of thing for my own audience or for my clients. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.